Hi everyone, I'm happy to have Ines and Filip today at the Quest for the interview. They represent txFusion, the development team building high-end blockchain projects with focus on the zkSync ecosystem. Ines is the founder and CEO, and Filip is head of product. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Today we're going to talk about the challenges of blockchain mass adoption, niche tech business growth in the Balkans, and opportunities for female leadership. Watch this interview to get a lot of insights and big pleasure. So, Ines and Filip, hi again. Tell a little bit about what is txFusion and how many people do you have and how everything is working.
Awesome. txFusion is a development company, right? We are focusing on kind of three sectors, let's say, within txFusion. One is tooling that we do with zkSync, right? The other one is focusing on R&D, and we have a product department that Filip is leading. At the moment, we're developing lots of products and shipping quite a few things from like this year was already, let's say, very productive, even though we are just a month in. And I would say shortly that's it.
And there are, we have three teams, as Ines said, and then there are a lot of people in there. I don't know how many, like 30 people, plus in a company. So we are, expanding and looking for new opportunities. So yeah, that's how txFusion.
It's quite fun actually to be at this time, being a startup and having like 30 people. At least for us, that's a huge success. It's not always easy as well. It can be quite challenging sometimes, but I think with the right focus and believing in something that you do, you're progressing, right? And I think as txFusion, we are going in the right direction in that sense.
Ines, why did you decide to create such type of business? It's not usual, it's not common business. So how did you find this opportunity and how everything started?
How it started, I was in other ecosystems, right? So I had experience working in other ecosystems, and working with zkSync, it came quite accidentally. In one hand, on the other hand, I was trying to find the right protocols, L2s, that I really could believe in, right? That I was more looking into the teams behind the projects, right? And what I liked about zkSync is integrity, right? The team was showing very strong integrity, and they were showing that they have clear path where they want to go. So that's how kind of started the idea around the txFusion. And then I met these three guys. Miki and Mimi are not here, but Filip is one of them. And then we sit down and we were like, okay, what is the direction where do we want to go, right? And we said, okay, let's do first one thing and then see how we go from there. And then by time, I think we were developing chapter by chapter of txFusion. And I think sometimes we were stopping up, like we were having issues, we were having roadblocks, we were having challenges and stuff. But I think at the end of the day, the whole creation of the business is about teamwork. I would just say that very, very briefly. It's really about the teamwork, and that we all had the dedication to build the txFusion what it is today. I cannot say that it's just my result and it's just me, but it's really rather a team effort in this case.
How do you come to blockchain? Like you, I don't know, you woke up one morning and, I'll work at blockchain, or no, or it was like long way and long path and you came to this after some projects or after some previous experience?
Oh, that's it was in a way accidental again. I used to live in India in 2015, and I got sick and I was in a hospital, and I could not get my medical records from Serbia. That's how I actually got to the blockchain. They could not get my medical records. We could not get approval to get these records sent by embassy, etc., etc. I used to eat a lot of spicy food, and that's how I ended up in hospital. And they needed, to see my background. And afterwards, I actually started digging into it. How can we make these medical records accessible to patients, right? This is my record. I have right to have my medical records, but then I depend on some bureaucracy and on some people there sitting, like deciding like would they send me my medical records or not. And that's how the whole thing actually with blockchain started. Then I started digging into it, and then I transitioned kind of in a way. I started doing blockchain conferences. I used to organize for enterprises like blockchain meetups, blockchain conferences. Then I started working more startups. This is not the first startup that I'm working in, but I had a few startups before that. And slowly and gradually, I started actually growing in the ecosystem. I started understanding even more than at that time for me, blockchain was like, okay, I'm going to have a right to my medical ID and my medical information, right? And it's going to depend on me, like always where it is. I can always have it with me. But then, of course, later on, from that small just idea and research, it grew up to a passion actually towards blockchain and what blockchain represents as an idea.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. The story about food in India was really nice.
How's it food?
Food.
Yeah, how people come to blockchain.
But food is awesome. It was just spicy and I was not used to it. Otherwise, food is awesome.
Filip, your team is from the Balkans, and how many similar business in this region, and what is general attitude of people from your region towards blockchain and crypto and related technologies or related products?
Mm-hmm. I think that Balkan region is like really enthusiastic about crypto, and not just enthusiastic in terms of like energy and talks, but also in terms of like action. I think there are a lot of good companies around here, or either good teams, individual teams that are doing really good work, and they're kind of recognized on a global scene, which I think is pretty important for the whole region and also for us, because we know that we are surrounded by the people who are doing active work, not just talking. At the same time, I think that one of the reasons for that is that people in this region are always looking for extra opportunity. People are trying to find ways to make something new that's not already here, and that's why it leads to crypto. In most of those ways. When there's a new technology, you maybe now have AI or something like that, but crypto is definitely in one of those top 3 technologies that are kind of new, right? And that's why I think in this region you can see a lot of talent, but talent there is at the beginning. I think it was a bit more they didn't have a direction, right? That talent didn't have a clear sense of where it should go. But over the years, I think it developed into a pretty good sense of like, hey, this is what we should do, this is what we should not do. Here's where we will focus, and here's what we'll leave at the side. So in kind of that sense, we're really happy to be here, but that's also not our limit. We are expanding globally. We are definitely not limited by any kind of borders or something like that. Our team is pretty international, and we're definitely looking forward to use every kind of help that we can get in order to help other people do their work.
Ines mentioned shortly about your involvement in the ZK ecosystem and zkSync. So can you explain more about why you're focusing on ZK, working with ZK rollups and ZK ecosystem, and like how do you work with zkSync in their ecosystem?
Mm-hmm, sure. I think the original idea started with Ines. So Ines worked in multiple different fields, multiple different areas, multiple different chains, right? And she saw the opportunity on zkSync technology, and she kind of invited us along that path. And we, did our bit of research, and then we definitely realized that this is kind of a future-proof path. We think that, in order to use the blockchain globally, as we'll probably talk during this interview, you need to have a massive scalability, right? And you need to have a massive security, right? And with those two things, I think ZK-based technology is something that definitely enables something like that, And we're not just focusing on what's happening today. Maybe today optimistic technology is a bit better or a bit more used, or however you want to measure it. But at the same time, we're looking at like what will be relevant in a year, 2, 5, 10, or even more. And that's where we see the real potential of ZK technology, and with that, definitely with zkSync and Matter Labs from our side. So, Ines, do you want to add?
Yeah, I would add that's why zkSync is just our main, like, let's say, partner, because we believe in the team and the tech, as we already mentioned. But what we also believe is that they are most progressive in a way, not just progressive, aggressive even in some steps, right? I would just say that that's one of the reasons why zkSync, like the decision making is faster. Everything is faster than in the other ecosystem that I used to work. Maybe that's just the timing or something, but we think that this progressiveness was on the start something that's win us over.
yeah, definitely one of the most important parts.
Okay, so you believe that zkSync is the end game?
zkSync is the end game.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. I liked that flash mob on Twitter, so yeah. Okay, so how difficult is to be competitive in this ZK solutions market, and like why zkSync choose you, or how do you work, how do you collaborate in this highly competitive market, and how do you grow?
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to start?
Yeah.
Well, I think you're definitely right. The whole market is pretty competitive. People from all around the world are trying to build something, trying to push their kind of idea, product, their kind of service or whatever else. And it gained a lot of traction. What we're trying to do is not specifically win over any kind of user mass with our words and with our tweets or with our just talks. What we're trying to do is build useful products. In my department, in product part of the txFusion, we're definitely focused on building products with value. I think if you look over the past couple of years in blockchain, there's a negative connotation of the blockchain in the global sense, just because of those scam projects that are most talked about and most let's say pushed. But if you take a look at the core of it, you can see what's actually valuable there. And in that sense, we're trying to see what will be valuable in the future, and try to orient in that direction. So even though there's a lot of people and a lot of teams, there are a lot of teams who are doing something like this, I don't think that everyone sees it like that. I think people are, someone trying to survive, someone trying to get money, or someone trying to just build stuff from the technology standpoint. But I think we are doing an extra step there of asking if this is needed, when this will be relevant, how we can help with this. And I think with those kind of questions that are not just technical, we are separating ourselves from most of the others in sense that we want to build something that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Can you tell a little bit more about your product that you built on zkSync, like more details for our viewers?
My favorite question.
I just wanted to say that.
So well, first of all, I think what Ines mentioned at the beginning is really important, is that, for more than a year now, we're working with zkSync and with this kind of technology, and we really got a good sense of what technology is and what is it capable of, and not just in this moment, but also what it will be capable of. And with that, we gain a lot of confidence that we can do, advanced stuff for zkSync, but also that we can build something on our own, right? I think zkSync and Matter Labs really help us in that regard with open sourcing a lot of their stuff. They're pushing that zkStack and zk Credo, philosophies that basically says like, hey, we're giving you all the available tools, build something with that, and we embrace that, I would say.
Yes.
And we started building. Our first product is our TX Portal and TX Bridge. For those of you who don't know about it, they're part of txSync family. So txSync is our all-in-one platform for everyone who wants to build on top of zkSync. We want for people to have one place where they can go and not connect wallets in 10 different websites or use 10 different applications for a couple of stuff. We want them to have one place where they can do a lot of it, not maybe all, but a lot of it. And also at the same time, we partner with people who do the other things that we don't. So that's txSync. And the first part of txSync is TX Portal and TX Bridge. We believe the same as zkSync, that bridging is one of the most important parts of any ecosystem. And that's why we started with it. We are making our bridge to be as simple as possible to use, as secure as possible, right? And then not just with that, but also giving an opportunity to connect with all the other parts of the ecosystem. So that's kind of the first part. And the second part that we recently launched is our product txSuko. This is a bit more technical product. It's related to the Paymaster and zkSync. So I would encourage everyone to read about it because this is really revolutionary technology, right? Paymaster allows you to either pay gas for someone else, okay, so you don't have to pay gas yourself, or to pay gas in some other token except ETH. And it really exploded when we launched it. It turns out that people need this kind of technology, you know, but they are just not being able to build it themselves. They do not have that know-how, you know, they don't want to spend weeks on, you know, reading and then developing and then testing and auditing and all of that. And with our product, you can create your own Paymaster that enables you this, what I mentioned, but also many other things with just a couple of clicks. And that's kind of the second part of it. And the beauty of it is that we can connect the first and second part, right? So if you go to our portal and bridge, you can see that we are doing the normal transaction, but we are also doing sponsored transaction or ERC20 transaction, you know, and that's kind of how we started to grow and started to partner with a lot of people and teams in the ecospace. And that's why I think people recognize that what we're building makes sense, you know, that you know, people really have a need to, you know, not just use ETH. If, for example, they have just USDC in their wallet, they don't want to swap or to go to this exchange and that, they want just to, you know, send a transaction. And they're just one example, but you get my point where I'm going. We want to build products that make sense, that are interconnected, and then allow people to easier use and build on top of zkSync.
So how do you think what the future of the blockchain mass adoption, and how many people should come to blockchain to bring this mass adoption?
Well, in my opinion, I do not think that it's that much adopted. I think it's very limited to a very limited group of people that knows about blockchain and how to use blockchain. And I think that maybe instead of you know, just going and bringing people in, we need to scale the thinking and start thinking about bringing industries in, not just individuals, but bring industries in, and they will bring with them like their own users, right? And they are already developed industries and industries with millions of users, right? So I think that's one of the things we discuss a lot, and that we see that everyone are focusing on individual user, right? But if we focus on a specific industry, I don't know, we go into medical industry, or we go into, I don't know, furnishing industry, or whatever it is, right? And we see what are their needs and how blockchains can help. Like Paymaster is one of examples where it can actually, one of the products that can actually help some of those industries. So this was kind of coming up a lot in our discussion. So we think that that's actually needs in a way for going like in this having this mass adoption, not to bring just an individual user, but rather focusing on a full industries and have use cases in those industries that will bring other like partners and then, you know, scale from there. At the end of the day, every industry developed in a similar way. So I think that's one of the challenges that we need to bridge, and that we are not really currently focusing on. We are rather focusing on how many wallets do we have, how many users do we have, etc., but not really focusing how blockchain impacts some of the industries, or how can it impact the industry. How do we go and find the partner that want to test it out? Like I think that for us at least, this is something that we are actually, the questions that we have towards ourselves, like how can we go and actually help the industry rather than just you know, doing what everyone are doing so far. Do you have to add something?
I completely agree with that. One thing I would add is that in order to bring those industries of people that are not used to crypto, or not maybe used to computers or programming or anything else, we need to have better UI and UX, right? And I think Matter Labs talks about it a lot, and they're actually doing a lot in that regard. Paymaster is just one of those steps, right? You don't have to pay gas fees, but maybe next steps are you don't have to have a wallet, right? Where account abstraction can come in, and then, you know, scaling, you know, all of those technologies in a sense that someone doesn't need to know that he's using crypto, but is using crypto. And I think that's
making it normal. Like so far, we're making it a big boom, I think, and we're making it weird. So people don't really don't touch it, or are like going deep into it, which are mostly developers.
Right.
But making it a normal thing that, hey, I'm using something, I don't know even if that it's blockchain, but it sorts out the issue, right? It helps out some challenge and solves the problem, and that's
and what you ask is like how we'll know how many people need to come into the field in order for us to have mass adoption. Well, I don't think it's a specific number. I think we'll notice that when we notice that our people all around us are using crypto without complaining how hard it is and the scammy it is or how difficult it is. When you notice that your aunt or your neighbor or someone like that is using crypto who is not native to that, I think that's the moment when we say, hey, this is the mass adoption.
By the way, I totally agree. And I think that mass adoption is when my mom can call me and say, oh, I just downloaded something and I can pay, I don't know, for some food or some things with crypto. And my colleagues recommended me to download this and use it. I think, or like, I don't know, my neighbors, yes. So it means that because everybody talk about AI, as we know, and compared to blockchain, we see that AI is more understandable for businesses and for individuals. And as Ines mentioned, that AI looks more attractive from the perspective of businesses and industries now than blockchain, but I think we should fix it.
It's more tangible than blockchain. Like you can make an AI app, take a photo and make a pop or rock or whatever shape of yourself. Like you can, it's more applicable than blockchain. Blockchain so far is still specific. Somewhere there, and it's very specific, not very easily applicable for any user. Right? That's it.
Yeah, I agree with you. So what the biggest challenges facing the blockchain coming next years, maybe 3 years, 5 years? So we talked a little about this, so maybe you can highlight some specific challenges.
The biggest challenges I see is, we mentioned a couple of them. One is scalability. It doesn't matter if you have a great technology and if you have the perfect technology, if like 10 people can use it, right? We need to scale it. We need to enable, not just to scale it, but to scale it in the sense that it's not, as Ines said, like hardly applicable, that you can scale it without much kind of additional effort where you're not dependent on people learning a ton of stuff before they use it. I think this is really important. The other one that we also mentioned, it's UX. So how you approach the technology, right? The good interface, a nice experience of user joining. But also, I would also say that what I mentioned at the beginning is building products with value. We're not going to scale if we build, some products that are used for other products which is used for that one, and we make a circle of dependencies. That's not going to scale. We need to make something that's definitely usable. As Ines mentioned, those usable things are probably in other areas besides what we're focusing right now. So if we scale to multiple different areas with good UX and we enable that scalability to be easy, I think that's a winning strategy for all of us.
I would just add one thing, and that's what we're actually trying out at the moment. But what we also think that's one of the challenges that we don't have experts. We have developers and we have programmers, right? Mostly in the tech area, but we don't have in the HR or in the, UX or, operations, right? In marketing. And I think that's one of the big challenges in the industry. Or someone has accesses, right, and resources to have some marketing, and the other ones don't have, or the other ones don't have knowledge, or don't have resources to promote stuff. So I think that's one of the big challenges in the ecosystem, that there are no experts from other aspects in the industry, and it's very hard to get to these experts to understand, once when you bring them in, to understand what is blockchain, and you have to basically have a transition, like we had a transition with career transition, like them to understand actually what they're doing. And once when they understand, I think they're very fast reaching the phase of actually giving the results back. But that's one of the biggest challenges as well that we see in the
and also one other thing is what we talked, I think this week, is that for example, in ZK ecosystem, even though technology is really great and they're pushing really hard, I think that application maybe don't have enough support, in order to grow, right? And that's kind of what we're also trying to solve in a way, by supporting really legit players, by supporting really capable teams that are building good stuff, that kind of support, not just from on top, like top level support, but also from bottom level support from within the ecosystem. I think that's really important. But it looks like that current ecosystem doesn't maybe have enough space for it as it is right now.
And everything turns out somehow into competition.
Yes.
Instead of us collaborating in the ecosystems. That's also one of the things that falls into this discussion. We did talk to other as well, let's say projects and like people in the ecosystem, and that's one of the things. Like we kind of compete, but there is no need for it. I mean, if we work together, great things can be created, right? We all are facing quite different challenges, right? So that's, I think the ecosystem just doesn't really have space at the moment to have a blast of really going forward.
I want to mention one more challenge, and it will be the question to Ines. That blockchain is still considered as a male field. How do you feel as a leader of the boys team or in the male field? So what skills or psychotype or maybe what actions should a woman do to be a leader?
Oh, of course, it's a challenge, Boys club is a boys club. Boys gonna be boys always, right? And of course, it's always fun to balance, right? We have quite different approaches to things, but instead of maybe looking at it as a challenge, I think I just took kind of a chance of using the both, right? The best of both, like views of I think it's not much about gender. It's maybe about being brave to do it, to try it out. On the other hand, we do have we do have developers in the company that are mostly let's say boys, but on the other hand we have operations, we have marketing, we have branding, and the teams are mostly consisted of females, right? So in the company kind of it's balanced, like the level of let's say genders, I don't know. So on that side I would say that as a company I do not have such challenges, right? It's rather sometimes it's in small details, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe you should ask them what challenges they have with
I'll ask, yes.
Yeah, my point of view is that I think it's really healthy that we have a different point of view coming from Ines, because it's not like a standard way of thinking. There are definitely differences between men and women, and then that's why we're kind of using that opportunity, because if everyone looks at the same stuff with the same eyes, we are maybe looking at it from a different perspective. I mean, there's always challenges, right? But I think there would be challenges even if there's all full male company or full female company. That's kind of how humans work, right? But what we are trying, I think, and Ines can say more about it, is that we're not we're not looking at our employees from the gender perspective. We're looking at them from the excellence perspective. Like if someone is excellent, it doesn't matter what gender you are. Just show us that, and then you'll be given a chance, right? And that's how we approach, I would say, everything, right? And that kind of mix that Ines mentioned with our other departments are not the same as the development department, is something that we take into consideration, because every kind of a major, I would say, product release or marketing release we do, it's that kind of that part of the company that provides, I would say, the most valuable feedback and something that helps with it. So I'm seeing it in multiple positive ways.
Maybe I would add here, actually we had once discussion about something similar. Guys are more let's say aggressive. And that's why there is in blockchain so many guys being founders. I think that's one of the reasons that
competitiveness between average man and average woman. Yes. I think that's part of the reason why the field is.
And blockchain is one big boys club. I mean, that's definitely a fact. And just being a female, of course, that's sometimes not very easy to approach, right? To get if you're a boy, I think you will just get a guy. You will get just more trust from the very beginning, very start, and that's one of the challenges externally that we noticed in the place. But I think that they would actually have more problems that I'm more aggressive than them.
It's a different kind of on the spectrum. So I think we're a pretty good match in that aggressiveness, sense.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, that's great. One more question about this, and we'll finish with this part of question. How do you think which activities or maybe which support should blockchain companies give women to join this field, or you think that it should be like natural flow, and companies shouldn't do some activities? So how do you think? What is your opinion?
Well, my opinion is that everyone should start from the point of equality of opportunity instead of quality of outcome. That's the first thing. The other thing is, as you already mentioned, is giving more push to women to try it out, or Ines mentioned, like to be brave enough to try it. Maybe it failed, no one knows that, but instead of having like go and try out, maybe they can give a bit of support, safety net or whatever, in order for female founders to try, right? Because there are certainly a lot of them out there, maybe who are just not brave enough to go with it. So that kind of direction-oriented push, in kind of a good sense push, right? I think it's a really good step as a first step.
Agree totally, and I would say that I do think it should be work on both sides. It's not just because you're a female, someone should give you an opportunity. I definitely not support that, and I think that yes, sometimes I have to work more than the rest. That's a fact, but that's not just in blockchain. That's globally, like it has been always like that, right? But you have to try, right? You have to learn. You have to try. You have to seek help, right? And fail. Definitely, you should fail. But I think for me was that I just managed to realize which things I'm good at, which things where I'm not good at, and to find the right partners that will actually make my weaknesses, right, just invisible. They will overtake them, and that this will be their strength, and just make right partnerships. In any business, I think you should have just that, like right partners and like people that want to work with you and that will be aware of your weaknesses and try, to help you to develop those weaknesses into strengths. And I think that's the path and that's the way. That's rather we are not seeking as females help a lot of times. That's and we do believe that I don't know, we cannot do something or it's too hard and stuff, but I think really it's about just being loud and go and ask for help. Start from scratch, spend time on learning, find the right partners, and just go and try. You will maybe fail, you will maybe succeed. I failed 6 times. So far, for now, we still don't know is it a fail or a success. We will see.
It looks like a success.
But it is, I think, that's the way.
I saw at your website that you have a Spotify playlist. So I think that sharing your inner culture is very good for employer branding and to show which personalities are you. So my first question will be who created this idea to share your Spotify playlist? What was the point to do this? And next question, what is your favorite songs or maybe music styles that can help you work more productive or relax? I don't know.
Actually, this was idea from one of the girls that works in the marketing, because she was seeing us listening different music, right? And that's how it come up as idea. Let's share with the world, guys, what you listen, right? So if we go, I don't know, to Istanbul, we would listen then, here there are some songs. If we go somewhere else, we will hear some other songs. But we would always bring something, right, back that we like to listen. And my mood, it depends really on the mood what I listen, right? But Into Dust I like very much. It's a core txFusion playlist.
I think that us listening different types of music is really good, but then at the same time we kind of converged to the kind of one style, which is like cyberpunk, theme, which you can see on our website, but also in our playlist, right? So those songs are more in that kind of techno, neon-oriented vibe, as people would say. So I don't have a favorite song. I really like the whole setup, with our TX City as a background, right? And then those songs as a motivation, and then everything we do with our products. For example, txFusion, you can read that on our website, but it's kind of a word for dog in Serbian, right? And then we have a cyber dog like that. So the whole theme, I think it's really, really cool how it turned out, right?
Yes. I think it would translate just the culture we have in a company. Everyone likes to have fun, and we like to make jokes, a lot of jokes, yeah.
That's a normal part of
and that's a boys' club result. When you have a boys' club, it's always like fun.
yeah. Laughter all over the place.
Laughter all over the place, yeah. And I think that's also the way that we are facing even the challenges and everything. It's just easier when you have this bond and music, and this culture, these are the things that makes you a team, that kind of, from everyone, you take from everyone, you make something unique. I think that's just a mirror of the image of the company.
What kind of person should be to join your team? I mean, soft skills.
Do you want to go with this?
Yeah. I'm not sure who should go with this. You can start.
Well, I think that what we're looking the most is someone who fits us as a personality. In my case, I really prefer that people are honest when they don't know something. Say I don't know. When they know something, of course, they will say that they know. That they're able to ask for help. That they're not shy and that they don't waste 3 days on trying to find a solution. But you can always ask for help and then learn in the meantime. And learning is, I would say, the third point that I really put myself as a criteria. I think everyone should learn and have space to learn. If people just want to do one thing, specifically one thing, and not develop, even if it's, let's say, one skill, but not develop further, and that's not something that is for us, for a company. I think the culture of learning in the company is very strong, and it's more about the person that will suffer with us, basically, if it doesn't, grow and learn in the.
A couple of things I would add are, for example, talent. I think I know that we're looking for really talented people. We have kind of a saying that we want to hire. Each new hire should be more talented than the average person in the team. And that with that, you're not just growing in numbers, you're growing in talent, right? So we really want for people to be exceptional when they come to work here. And also what Ines said, like honesty and good personality, someone who you can trust, right? Someone who can rely on. We were pushing for people to be independent, right? To not being afraid to try something from themselves. But also the learning part that Ines mentioned is the crux of it, because the whole field is like changing, as you probably know. Like each day something new comes in, and we all talk like how fast it's going. So someone needs to be able to follow that. Not as much as not everyone should be able to needs to be able to follow it in the same pace, but that kind of inner sense of like, hey, this is a new technology, things are changing. It's important to have it, because without it, you couldn't be able to grow, right?
And what's maybe important to add here, I think it's also that we do not want to sit behind people's back and tell them what to do every day. And then we have a culture of people taking responsibility and ownership of the things they do. I think that's a big issue in the blockchain. Like everyone waits for someone to tell them what to do, and that's something that from the very beginning we had kind of as a rule. Like if someone needs, that we give them a list of tasks or things to do every day, that person will not fit working with us, as we do prefer that people are being actively engaged. And we have conversations, and then from there people create like their own tasks and develop further and propose ideas.
Integrity.
And yes, integrity, take the ownership, like not just execute the list of demands.
Yes.
I know that you participate in ETHDenver. you'll go there and do something. So tell me, please, what are you going to do there, and which plans do you have for this beautiful and huge event?
It's a secret. Just kidding.
He just got his visa
today. Excited about the conference. I think the Denver is a place where we can definitely expand in the sense of we have a really good partners, but we would like to meet them in person. It's not that meeting them on screen is bad, but there is a special a thing when you meet someone in person and you have a drink, right, or you just laugh, and that's what we're trying to do, to go there in order to meet existing partners, but also to talk with other potential people that we think our style and our products match those. We have a lot of ideas. We are currently exploring them on our own, but we would like to share them with the community there in ETHDenver. And of course, we go to learn, right? As Ines mentioned, all of us want to learn. And there's definitely a lot to learn when there's a kind of group of people that will visit Denver there. So we want to be able to extract anything that we can to, have it in our kind of arsenal of things that we are able to do, and then of course to, as I mentioned at the beginning, build useful stuff and help people all around the world with this technology that we are working with.
And I'll be waiting for photos or videos from this event. So please share them on Twitter.
What a game! You know Joker? The basketball player from Serbia, Nikola Jokic?
No, I don't know him.
So
he's very famous.
So that's one of the reasons.
It's not the conference, it's not the crypto, it's basically the basketball. That's why we are going. But yeah, just kidding, of course.
Yeah, and then we see photos with basketball match, and no crypto, no blockchain, no Vitalik Buterin.
We want to bring basketball to crypto. That's our biggest goal.
Imagine that every ball has a contract.
And every ball is an NFT, right?
It's an NFT, yeah. That's even better.
By the way, I know one project, DAO. I don't remember its name, but they collect money to buy NBA team. So they want to buy the NBA team, and they created DAO for this reason. So maybe you should join, or
a lot of it.
A lot of it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so one last question. What can you recommend to people interested in blockchain, in Web3, but they don't know where to start? So you mentioned a little bit what to do for women. And now I want to ask you one more time, in general, like, where to start and what can you recommend? Maybe you can recommend some, I don't know, YouTube channels or books or podcasts or whatever you can recommend to start in blockchain.
I think that one of the best recommendation I've got and I can give to other people is just to be curious. Blockchain is kind of a beautiful field because you can enter it from multiple different perspectives. It can be, technology, it can be psychology, it can be economics, it can be philosophy, it can be like multiple different angles to approach it. And whatever you are interested in, because we're all interested in different stuff, right? Let's follow that path and see where it goes. Of course, in the direction of the blockchain, right? Because there is no one single good resource that I should, recommend. If you go there, you will learn everything. But if you're following what you're passionate about and then going in that direction, you will meet a lot of other people who are doing the same, but also a lot of resources because, you have everything here nowadays on the internet, right? And if you go picking one by one, you'll quickly learn a lot of stuff. And if you invest time, invest yourself, and, as Ines said, like, be brave not to fail at the beginning, but, push forward. I think that's kind of the best abstract approach that I can give to anyone who is interested in learning more about the whole field.
I would say maybe that if they didn't have touch with blockchain, that maybe they should understand what blockchain is, not crypto, but rather what is the purpose of blockchain. Maybe read Bitcoin white paper, or like read the basics, like understand the basics, why blockchain is there, what kinds of blockchain exist out there, and start from the basics really, and then from there on you can then go in one direction or the other. I mean, there are a lot of different like directions that you can go from the basics, but understand the basics and the purpose of the blockchain. Why is there on the first place? Why we are not like,
why is it important?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll leave all the links you share with me. I'll share with people, so everything will be fine. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Have a great journey and conversations at Ethereum Denver. And see you soon.
See you soon.
See you soon, definitely. Yeah.
Ciao, ciao.